heard of this thing called 75 Hard. You know?
I'm at the change computer.
It's like some 75-day
Oh,
challenge.
yeah, Chuck was telling me about that.
It's crooked. But it's like a challenge. You're supposed to drink like a gallon of water.
Is it crooked now?
Wrong way. So, it's a little too much, but right there is perfect. Perfect. Are we putting this on the speakers? Is this on the speakers?
Yeah, let me turn this You live, I want you to know that while you sing it.
How does it sound now?
While you sing it. For the summer. What this switch is not going on something else.
I don't know. This is hello, test. Just serenaded the people.
Yeah, that's what you want to call it. We'll go with that. We'll stick with that.
We still ain't starting probably. It doesn't officially start until you start to get some music, you know?
6:58. We got 2 minutes.
Oh, it's early.
I
Look at that.
You can still be live
Man.
as you walk around, but you've never been down here before.
How come I ain't framing this? It's been like.
I know. I think it was framed.
It was framed. Somebody knocked it down.
Yeah. He said my bad like he did it. Is this loud enough?
Yeah.
Is that up? The speaker?
You want it up?
Yeah, let's turn the speaker up a little bit.
Oh, pick it up.
Let's get a little bit more. Because I feel like I want it to be heard on Instagram. That's better. How does that sound?
Heard everywhere.
It's all right. Yeah.
They want to be heard everywhere.
Everywhere.
Is that good enough, man?
Yes. Oh man, I'm excited. You excited? I feel like this show is inspired by a recent outing. A recent family outing.
Brought to you by Breakfast Boutique.
I wasn't going to be a name drop.
I'll name drop out there.
I don't want to shame no place. You know?
Really keep it balanced.
Oh man, still got the experience in my taste buds, my pores.
Welcome to another episode of Above Average Black Men. Yours truly, Chris A. Pender Sr.
Chris Jr. here to empower, inspire, and uplift the community.
Devin Pender here to remind you to like, follow, subscribe, share, and comment. Interact with us. We need the interaction. We love the support. We love the traction. It's just all about growing.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple big events coming up. Next weekend, the 9th, we'll be down at E9 Tabernacle Church, live down there, recording some stuff. And then the 15th, we'll be at Shelton High School.
Yeah.
Which is going to be interesting. Yeah. So I'm excited about both those days.
Yeah.
But today's show, we're going to talk about supporting Black businesses. So we'll make sure we keep this a well-rounded show. Not just,
I don't even know what that
just,
means.
Well, I'm explaining what I mean because I know we recently had a bad experience. And I know the experience proper to the show. We all looked just like, yo, we got to do the show. But I want to make sure because we share some positive things. There's a lot of good African American businesses out there.
I did.
So I don't want people to think we're bashing them, but we just had, and for me, it's been a string of times, and which has kind of created my frustration. No, because I think, and I'll say this, and this is just my personal opinion. I think sometimes we get comfortable because people support us because we're African American businesses, and our level of service is not always the same.
Yeah.
I open up, I'm on fire. I open up, I got 15.
Week and a half.
Well, I'll give them a month, but then all of a sudden, you go back on day 32, and it takes you a little longer to get your food. By the time you get to day 60, sometimes the portions are smaller. No, I'm just saying, you see things.
So why do you think it is? Like, is it? I even don't want to frame it in this box of Black business, but sometimes it appears to be as such. But it's just, do you think it's like poor management habits?
Well, I mean, my personal opinion is because I kind of went through the same thing when I was on my own. you handle things, but you handle things differently because you think small because everything is small. When I was running my own business and I used the cleaning company as a perfect example. When I did the cleaning company, my first couple accounts was small, so it was easy to manage. But when I started getting larger accounts, I had to stop thinking like it was a small account. See, a small account I could underorder and cover because I could run to Home Depot, pick up another bottles, But when you run a larger account, you can't keep doing it. So you got to change the way you order supplies. You got to start thinking further ahead.
Yeah, but not everybody seems to. I think that's maybe something that's not accounted for, or when people get in the midst of it, they don't tend to think like, all right, I have to change what I'm doing. Or in other cases, I feel like they just get comfortable. They see that little bit of success. And it's just like, boom, all right, people want to support me automatically. They think they got loyalists.
But I think sometimes they just don't know. It's like a guy who operates a business out of the trunk of his car, and he's selling Nike sneakers out the trunk of his car. Excuse me, Nike. But he's selling Nike sneakers out the trunk of his car. And his car holds, say, 70 boxes of sneakers.
Kind of car.
So I'm just saying, so he's selling these sneakers. He's knocking out on a weekly basis. He's selling them out. 2 days he sold out. The third day I'm going to get more. I'm back out there the fourth day. That's his schedule. So then somebody says, man, you need to open up a store. Now open up a store. He's still doing 70 boxes though. The problem with the store, people expect your store to be open every day.
Yeah.
They don't want to know I can get sneakers every third day. So, but when you still ordering 70 boxes, because you still in that trunk of your car mentality, and everybody can't switch it to the, can't switch it over, to okay, I'm growing. How can I adjust? Now you got, instead of managing you, especially if you never managed people before, now I got a staff I got to manage. Now I got to do things I'm not accustomed to doing, or I'm used to fussing at my kids because my kids are working for me. Now I got grown people with kids. I can't fuss at them. I can't say what's wrong with y'all. So, I think there's a combination of things. And I also think, you maybe it's a labor shortage, but, we're not going to name the place. But the place we went to, we got there 11:30, I think, for breakfast. So by the time we ate, it wasn't even brunch because we didn't eat till like 1:30.
I would say we were a little late. So we didn't all get there at 11:30.
Okay, so we sat down around noon. So I'm still saying that's a long time. And even the seating process was whacked out because they told us in another African-American family, we can't seat you till everybody gets here. But then I watch a Caucasian family come in, and they said they
came in late
and walk. So that's another thing that I'm just saying. But that's another thing that you say.
When you like, how can you treat some other business people that don't even look like us, your patrons,
But it's who you value, and sometimes because honestly, we have a reputation for not tipping, for not being generous tippers. We tip well, but so that could have. No, I don't know. I'm speculating. I just know as a business owner, when you make that shift, you have to shift your mindset. Like for instance, when now my business has grown, and I got to figure out how much more I can take, or I can't take, why I can still have good service. But some people are like, I got to make all the money I can make. So you start biting off more than you can chew, because you're in that mindset. The other side of the coin is I can't run it the way I used to run it before, just keeping stuff. I had to go out and get QuickBooks. I couldn't just keep a ledger and stuff. So, your mind has to be prepared to move to the next level, and everybody can't. And I want to say this happens a lot in all businesses, but we're talking about African-American business because, our goal is to support them.
That's what I was going to ask next. Do you feel like that is kind of the mindset or kind of the mantra now is that, hey, support Bob Black, Do you think we need to reframe?
I feel like, and that kind of touches to a point that you made earlier, like about people getting too complacent or too comfortable. I feel like just because we look alike, like we got the same skin color, people think, oh well, I'm gonna have this person forever.
Like I gotta support.
Yeah, like I'm gonna have this support for life.
Client.
A loyalist.
Yeah.
But it's a dynamic, Devin, because you got to look at it. If you're a business person, you constantly hear this. That African Americans spend more money than any other ethnic group. So it's not really about getting the same person back. You get to spend the money. And I'm not saying I'm not making an excuse, but it's like it's like some people with I use a church for an example. I have a church and I have 500 seats. I could have as long as those 500 seats full every Sunday. I would care, but some people don't care. It could be 500 different people at the end of the month, long as they got those seats full. So I think it's a combination of things. I don't want to say they get complacent because I don't know. It seems like, but I also think sometimes, we lower the bar because of that. We would take things from African American business or minority business that we wouldn't take from another establishment. So I think that's part of it.
I guess a point that you made, or do want to state that there are good ones out there, of course, but it's just like, do you feel like they're few and far between, or is it like, I think we just got to be better at supporting the best ones, and making sure
I do.
they get on the map.
I think we not only be better at supporting but promoting them.
Promoting for sure.
We do.
Yeah.
But I also think, and this is going to probably get some mixed results out there, I think we have to demand better service. Not just say, well, I didn't expect anything. No, to me, and we have to learn to critique and help people get better. Not in a nagging way, cussing them out, flipping the bird at the waitress or whatever, or complaining, but hey, I came, I really like your food, but you may want to, like the place we were at, I was cool until I saw the girl in the kitchen flipping her hair all playing. And I'm like, yo. And then, and then who said that? They saw the guy grab all the toast in his bare hand.
Crazy. Waving himself like you in church.
But that's the stuff that you can control. You can control that. But that's the part that turns people off. Like the first 2 times I went there, I loved the joint. I would never go back. One, for the simple, what I did see, which means I don't know what I'm not seeing back here.
And that's the other side of it too. Like the things that you do see.
That I did see, and then the service was just, not only was the service bad, the thing that really put the nail in the coffin for me was nobody came out to apologize. Nobody had any remorse that we were in that place from 11:30 to 2 to 3 o'clock almost.
Yeah, man.
And the owner walked past several times who knew, because she kept coming up talking to us while we were waiting, so she knew how long we were there. And then the thing was, really, toast? How is toast and water?
There's a couple of things I feel like they forgot.
But toast and water is easy. Those 2 things that really, how you late with water and late with toast. I mean,
the process.
So, and again, I think there's a lot of business out there, but I also think, and this show is about that. We promote African American business.
We still want to continue.
I purposely went out my way this year, to do more to support them and support people, like us. I donated to my school, to my alumni service. I've never done before, because we have a scholarship from a class 79 dude. So I go out my way to make sure that I'm doing it now, but also I don't expect poor service.
Yeah.
So I there's a young lady who I buy my oils from now, for my hair and stuff like that. I'm gonna get on the show, Tyresha Primo. She's pretty good, but I told her, like, I don't want this to turn into, the first time you take care of me. After this is like, I ordered now. It's gonna take, you get it to me the first couple of times in a day or 2. Now it's gonna take me 5 days because I'm a repeat customer. See, that's the things I think we gotta work through.
So one thing I'm like thinking of right now, another reason why it kind of happens sometimes in the corporate world, it's like there is a need to, when you're Black, to feel like you got to stick together, like you feel like,
and we should,
right? Yeah. So it's just, I think sometimes maybe that gets taken for granted, maybe in the business sense, or that we look at each other sometimes so familiar that we think, oh, it's okay to do this. It's okay to get up. It's okay to be late by like 20, 30 minutes for this appointment.
If you're honest with yourself, and I think some people are not, because I have to, you know what I do for a living. And there are certain audiences that I have to catch myself, that I find myself lower my expectations for. Mm-hmm. Before I even start. I know they're going to say something stupid. I know this is going to get into, why am I, and I think all human beings have a tendency of doing that. But the key to be successful in business is be able to be, stable. Is be able to be consistent. Mm-hmm. And not allow people or situations dictate what you do. So I think sometimes there is that we take for granted. Like they took us for granted. She assumed. I'm thinking, if I see groups coming in here, I'm gonna make sure I take care of that group,
right?
Because that first is a group. Second of all, it's more likely they're gonna tell more people about it, good or bad. Like I said, the owner, she was with us when we first got to 11:30. We talked to her 12 o'clock. By the time we got seated 12:30, she knew how long we were there. She never once said, "Hey," and And that's bad business. I might have been able to stomach the whole thing a little better had she came over and said, I apologize for, and then the waitress, she just didn't come back. She's like, yo, when we were talking to her, we were nice. She just sent the young guy back. So I think that the customer service part of it, I think, long as I'm making money, U6 may not come back, but I'm full. I got a full establishment. I'm keeping a full establishment, not realizing that after time, it won't be full anymore. But right now it's full because people don't know. But every time if you lose people 6 at a shot, that's not cool. And I think that's part of it because they thinking about here and now, not thinking down the road. If I continue to lose 20 people a Sunday, eventually I'm not going to have a full establishment.
And this is crazy to me too, because it's like, I work in the customer service industry, I feel like. So I have that side of kind of understanding like, you got to provide a high level of service. That's generally what kind of keeps people hooked and brings people back, along with having an outstanding product. Sometimes, a lot of times, people out here selling a lot of the same stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the same variation in things, and like really, what gets people and wins them over is the customer experience.
I give you the perfect example. I'm gonna tell you who figured it out and who's making a killing. Chick-fil-A has figured it out. Chick-fil-A has figured out that high customer service. I like the food. But there's nothing special about it. It
is pretty special.
I know. It's good. It's good. I'm not saying it's bad food. It's good food, but it's not spectacular. Yeah. It's good food. But the thing about Chick-fil-A is the customer service consistent across stores. Whether I'm in Florida, no matter where I'm at, their customer service is high level. Sure. I just ordered I ordered a bunch of food for some high school kids. And I'll go to pick it up, and the lady was like, we're getting together, we weather in 5 minutes. Together in 4, I'm going to bring it to your car. It's like, I'm going to, so that, even the young people,
back in the car.
Even when you go through the drive-through, the young people, they have mastered this level of service. So guess what? People don't mind waiting the next 5 minutes in line now.
Yeah, they always
here. People don't mind waiting next to 10 minutes in line. So that goes a long way. They've mastered it. And they train people accordingly, and they pay a little more.
It's actually crazy.
Yeah,
people ain't go crazy like Popeyes,
But see, now Popeyes on the other hand, their service is not that good, but their chicken, people, the one not too far from here. I'm not gonna give out the location because I ain't trying to give them no problem. But you go there starting on Wednesday night, that line is always to the door to get you, and their customer service is not that great.
Right.
Yeah, but they got that chicken sandwich, man. It's like, hey,
I never had a chicken sandwich, so I don't know what you're talking about.
but I think it goes back to being owned by us. So that's a perfect example. The Chick-fil-A we talking about is owned by our brother, and he's killing. It's one on Salem Avenue. It's owned by a sister. I don't know if you know it, and she's killing.
You consider that like franchising? Still black-owned business?
Yeah, because it's your business. You determine how much your store makes. So it is. Granted, it's not like the place we went. Not even because they have 3 places, but you determine, and they're killing it. They're knocking out the box. The sister on Salem Avenue, she has one. It's always crowded. I mean, it's jam packed. The one over here is probably more crowded. The one that looks more crowded because you don't see the cars lined up because they don't have drive-through. Yeah. But I mean, it's jam packed. But again, customer service. So there are some businesses out there that are really good, but then there's some really bad because your mom and I can't. You get soul food establishment they're all good for the first month.
That is a fact.
You go back 45 days in, it's like, wait a minute.
This mac and cheese tastes off.
The place we were talking about, I think they closed now, Platinum Grill. I used to love Platinum Grill, man. And then the problem with it was they service, it got so bad where I would order online and go a half hour late, and my food still wouldn't be ready. I'm like, wait a minute. So now it's outweighing the taste of the food now because, like, man, come on.
It's not worth the wait. But again, that goes to what I was saying, the customer experience.
But I do agree. But again, and like I said, I think part of it is I don't know if everybody knows how to take their business to the next level. I think that's the part that like you can't quadruple your customers and only have one staff member.
That's a good question.
You know what I mean? You can't do that.
What would you say are some kind of key elements or staples to, a successful, I don't even want to say black business because we had TC on here before and he
excellent.
Right, was just kind of thinking of like you want to be a business and sell to anybody and everybody that you can. But like, what would you say are good qualities?
But I think it's funny you should say that because we got to get him back on the show.
Yeah,
TC checked all the boxes for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he ticks all the boxes. You know, when we first met, he treated us when we first met on the show. Mm-hmm. You know, he was personable. He was down to earth. Mm-hmm. You know, he wasn't.
Like
I'm
making money.
He wasn't, he wasn't like my place is the best place in the world. You know, just check us out. And then when I went to check him out, I dealt with his assistant, but he came to make sure everything was right. Chris, hey, is everything cool? Mix, yeah. Is everything where it's supposed to be? I'm going to be there this day. And he was there. Mm-hmm. He was there, and when he said, he fixed stuff on the spot. He was so impressive. We had the King thing there. People were like, who is, is he the owner? I said, yeah, they couldn't believe it. Mm-hmm. He had the lady couldn't speak Spanish. He spoke in Spanish. He didn't berate her in front of everybody. He did it in such a way that the people like working for him. So, so when things wasn't quite right, it wasn't that big a deal. Mm-hmm. And he was quick to fix it. It wasn't a bunch of excuses or all this stuff like that. He was quick to fix it. He wasn't like, I'm gonna knock $1 off. I'll catch y'all next time. He fixed it right away.
And that's why I'm glad I brought him up, just to kind of show the other side of like a good business.
Yeah. And even when it was over, thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your business. It wasn't like, I got your money now.
Right. But then, of course, it led to you saying like, you know what? I'd be willing to do more business here, or I'm going to send other people here because I had that experience. I know he's reliable, and you're going to have
every chance I get out. I got him. He's doing they canceled lunch, but he's doing a dinner at the conference. Well, we were going to do a lunch, and so
they canceled that
because they didn't get enough people. Different story. They didn't have enough people sign up for it, so they're going to do a dinner. But they're going to have him do the dinner. So now he's going to be doing his dinner. Brian Dawkins is going to be there. Jason Levant, Eddie George. So he has a chance again to impress people.
Yeah.
That's just because the way he, Chris Broussard, a bunch of people gonna be there. So that's just another way of him to kind of extend himself. And I don't mind doing it because I know he's not gonna disappoint me. I know I'm not gonna get there and the silverware gonna be dirty. And I went to an event, and I'm not gonna say the name. I went to an event. Me and somebody invited me to an event, so we go to we in line the buffet. So I get up. It's like I'm next, and so one of the ladies said, look, you got to go put on a hairnet. So the girl was like, well, okay. She said, well, no, you got to go do it now. So the girl says, well, I can't do it because I got to take off she had on, hair, something over here, whatever. And so they said, no, you got to do it now. So they stopped the whole freaking line. So everybody behind me, we had to wait like 20. So not like the lady could have slid over and kind of served. We had to wait like 20 minutes for the girl to come. No.
See, that's what she should have did. No. I was about to say, all right, I see her telling her to take that.
We had to wait 20 minutes. So we all look at each other. Everybody's being polite, but everybody's like, yo, and honestly, because of what the girl had on was sufficient because her hair was completely covered. It didn't come down on her ears, everything. But then the other thing is, well, why didn't you tell that before all this started?
Right. Yeah.
So, but
not in the midst of a rush.
So what I'm saying is sometimes, and I get she was trying to do the right thing, but that wasn't a good business move. Slide over, call somebody else out. Joe the dishwasher, put some gloves on our hands, sling his ash a little bit.
I don't think I'm the dishwasher.
But to that point, though, too, I think. When we were just talking about the difference in business between some of the bad experiences and some of the good experiences, it's like sometimes I'll be like questioning, do they understand that word of mouth is certainly powerful and people, especially in this age of like social media, people run right online and just be waiting to trash the spot.
It's still the most powerful marketing tool.
That too. It's places that I've seen and I'm like, man, I want to visit that place.
People don't realize that because I don't advertise and I don't pay for advertising. But there's people who spend a lot of money on advertising, not thinking about what you said, not thinking about like if TC was closer, I could probably send him business every week,
all the time,
every week. But in my mind, whenever something comes up, that's who I think of. Somebody was looking to have a funeral, it was just too far away. TC, So now like I'm using to cater some stuff. I got him at this King Summit. Or Brittany Gunn. I give Brittany a shout out. I needed a chef. All these other chefs was giving me a run around. I needed a chef to come to the house. Brittany came here, did what she said she was going to do.
And then, again, that leads to you telling more people that you have in your circle.
Now she got more opportunity.
One lady calls me, one lady chef, finally gets back to me. She calls me back. She says, how can I help you? So I begin to tell her, what I need. Well, now it's a bad time. Can I call you back? Well, why'd you call me in the first place? Yeah. So meanwhile, I'm getting closer to the event because I went for Valentine's Day. I had the chef come to the house. So then finally, when she does call me back, she says, "Well, I didn't get a chance to look at the notes. So could you tell me what you want?" Like, yo, lady. So now I'm telling her what I want. And again, she's talking to somebody else, so she's not really hearing what I'm saying.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So she's talking to someone else in the background. So I'm like, I'm trying to tell you what I want. Was it a special event? Well, yeah, I'm having this for my wife, and we want to make sure. I want to make sure it's a good dinner. It's a surprise. She doesn't know. I want to make sure everything goes right.
He's showing off like what he did on.
No, I'm just saying. So I said, so then one person I'm talking to, I said, well, my wife doesn't eat cheese. Well, what about if she doesn't see it?
Oh. Goodness.
I don't know what that meant, but I'm saying, so I'm telling you.
But these are black chefs.
But it was.
That's all I'm saying. I didn't answer no
What I'm saying, but what do you mean? So I'm just saying, instead of saying, regardless of that, if I don't want it, I don't want that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't care if your best omelet's a cheese omelet. If I say I don't want any cheese, I don't want any cheese. Just give me the omelet. So you run into that, or you should, and I don't mind somebody recommending something, but I don't need you put me in a headlock. Like, me, I'm very picky. So, if I say I don't eat sushi, don't tell me what I need to try. I don't eat it. That's not on my palate. I'm not saying it's bad. So I think sometimes,
black sushi stuff.
You get into this thing, and then you can, and some of it, it's like, yeah, but you got to try things. Okay, wait a minute. You don't know me like that. So I think there's a combination of things that we could do better. But I want to say though, but I've had some, some great experiences.
It's something I saw online that was funny today. I didn't get to read or look too much into it, but it just kind of the title. Somebody said there's too many entrepreneurs.
That's a fact, because I feel like every other person now
is like trying to start a business and you don't have no.
Let's see, here I'm again
doing it.
I would agree with you, but I disagree. I agree that there's people who shouldn't be doing it, but I don't think it's too many because I think competition is good.
Yeah,
I think competition, if you have pride, competition makes you raise the bar. Now, if you suck, it don't matter.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta. So we see out here.
It's like we're the doctors, we're the lawyers. Everyone wants to be entrepreneur for themselves.
Like it's too many T-shirt companies.
Yeah.
see, okay, but I mean, no, it just got me laughing. But yeah, but because you know how I feel about T-shirt companies, so that's why I'm laughing because we had this conversation. But some of it is, and you got to think about it too. Some of it is because some people see it as an easy way out.
Yeah.
But there's some entrepreneurs that's their legitimate passion. It's not about, I want to do it quick. I want to get paid quickly. How can I, have the smallest expense and the greatest profit margin? There's people who generally love what they do, so they do it to the best. So there's always going to be some people that's just trying to make money, and there's probably the person that got 5 different things. I started out selling T-shirts, and now I'm doing socks or whatever. But that's just the nature of the beast. But I think competition is good. I think as a consumer, we got to do a better job of choosing.
Yeah.
But how do you eliminate? Because how would you stop it? You just can't say, "Well, I don't think that was going to be good at that, so you can't become an entrepreneur." So I think it's always going to be entrepreneurs. But the question is who you choose. Like we said, I'm not going to go back to that place, and it's so ironic because I should smack myself in the head. I told your mom I should just close my head in the door and slam it because when
you was one of them people gassing it up.
Because I went and I
had good experience.
But I had a sign. I had a sign.
But
I had a sign because I called them when I called TC, the caterer, to do this catering for me to take to Philly, and they never called me back. TC got right back to me, so so I said, I'm going with TC.
Never contacted you back.
To this day, they ain't called me back.
How long ago was this?
This was about a good month ago.
Wow.
A good month ago when I was planning an event. And then, and it was funny because TC and I actually played phone tag.
And they don't need your money.
And I probably gonna go with TC anyway, but I always try to get 2 or 3 quotes.
As you should.
To get an idea. And I'm saying, I'm gonna they local business, I'm gonna give them a shot and see. But again, TC, I get them on the phone. Yo, Chris, what can I do for you? No problem. Blah, 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 blah. TC, this is what I need. Well, this is what I recommend. It wasn't like this is what you need to do. No, this is what I recommend. But you tell me, even when you talk to his wife or his assistants, you get the same tone.
Do you think our experience would have been different if the food was hitting too? Listen, because I'm thinking sometimes you may be willing to trade off for a bad experience. Maybe if you had, man, my chicken was so salty. It was Are you kidding me? And then Nicole's lemonade drink was straight. It was Kool-Aid.
Well, no,
It
you
was
can't judge
With
the
a
drink
pound of
because it
sugar.
probably was supposed to be like.
Oh my goodness!
You know, the
They
probably
was giving out diabetes. It was crazy.
Now, see, that's your expectation.
And high sodium and cholesterol.
But you can't blame the
It
drink.
was
But you
wild.
can't blame them for the drink because they never said that you were drinking. They said fruit punch. They never said they were giving you some exquisite, some top of the line. They said, and it was very, very, very sweet.
If you hear the name, you'll think it's top of the line.
It was a Bob.
What is
Marley
marketing?
lemonade.
Bob Marley.
What is
Bob
Bob
Marley? It tastes like a
Tropical.
Jamaica or something.
Well, how do you know Bob Marley unless we stuff?
Refreshing.
I mean, I had one too, so I did. I like sweet stuff. It was like syrup.
Oh my goodness.
But I can't. I'm not going to fault him for that. But I will fault him for I had to literally see. And this is why I always get a glass of water to wash my silverware. I that kind of bothers me.
I didn't see this
what I
glass
want
of ice.
Well, sweetness. Sweetness. That's somebody's choice. Well, your order kind of disturbed me a little bit because we all heard exactly what you said.
Oh my gosh.
And then she even admitted what you said. She just, I don't know what the translation was in her
I'm
head.
just going to do this.
But, yeah.
All right.
Because it was
story
easy.
behind this.
Easy.
I just wanted a chicken and waffle, but they were giving out
Stereotype.
wings with the waffles. And I was like, who wants
chicken
wings with the waffles?
Hitting.
I'd rather have like a chicken breast. They had a chicken tender option. So I asked, hey, can I get the chicken tenders in place of the wings? She said, sure, no problem.
But see, y'all were a bougie couple because then you had the vegetarian chicken and waffles. Y'all were high
Listen, you
maintenance.
sidetracking the story. So then after that,
Y'all were high
so
maintenance.
next, no, that's not high maintenance. I feel like
Vegan.
just give me the option. Give me an option. But when I put in the that order, she brought back the chicken and waffle with the wings, and then also an order of chicken tenders and fries. Like,
Well, if it
it
wasn't
just
an hour
made two
later.
separate orders.
If it wasn't an hour later, it wouldn't have been so bad. But it was like an hour later
Oh,
she
yeah.
came back too.
Oh my goodness! Like it was actually she brought out the waffles first without the chicken. They gave it to me separate.
I was still waiting for my toast.
And the
This shit
fries
fucked.
weren't that good.
I was finished eating, and Lily says, "Well, don't you still want your toast?" You gotta be kidding me! Well, I should have said, "What the one the guy playing cards with in the back?"
Yeah.
But I was finished eating. But it's not. I want to keep saying it. It's not all.
But
I
you
don't
know
want
what's
people out
crazy
there
though,
thinking
too?
like we bashing.
It's
and
like,
we're
why
not.
would you not like run or give an experience that you would want to have? That's the approach that I
But that's how
generally
you
take.
think.
Right. So I'm like, man, I want to feel like
Okay.
That
Why don't
costs too
people?
much.
Why don't? But that's like, why don't people treat people like they like to be treated?
That makes sense.
that
It's
is-
just I don't know the
I
answer
thought
to
of
it.
like that.
I don't know the answer, but to me, I'm thinking, and I value the dollar. You call
Me
me
too.
cheap, whatever you want to call me. So I'm thinking, how can I retain my clients? I'm always thinking like that, with the realization that you're going to lose some because some
It's
for
an extra
whatever
release,
reason,
yeah.
for whatever reason.
Retention.
But I never want somebody to
Not
walk away
100%.
saying that I did not serve them, I underserved them.
Mhm.
And I'm in a place now where your mom, like, I got to turn stuff down. I don't want to, but the realization is I can't do anything else effectively.
But I think the point you also just made is like we're not saying it has to be a perfect business.
Yeah.
You understand you're not gonna get things
But you
right
are perfect.
all the time. I don't. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, you do.
I just like to see the effort. I like
Yeah,
to
you
see
do.
the effort.
You wanted your vegan waffles and vegan.
I wasn't the one eating vegan
Yeah,
waffles.
but 2 is 1 and 1 is 2. Whatever
That's
you want to put it.
ridiculous.
I'm just saying. But together, y'all were high maintenance, and I guess
How? He just want to figure it out.
you were like, "Well, can I have my chicken and waffles?" And I want my
Because
chicken.
who eats wings with chicken and waffles? That's not.
Well, I'm only teasing.
You don't
I
know
don't eat
about
chicken and waffles. I was only joking. But I mean, but I will say this: the food wasn't bad. Once we got the food, it just how long we waited outweighed.
My wings were so. The chicken was so
No
salty.
updates. Like at least have some updates. Someone coming out like, "Hey, I'm sorry this is taking this long. It's coming out at this time."
Well, it was bad. I'm gonna tell you when it really got bad, and I'm not gonna say names. When somebody in the party had to go look for the check.
It took us so
That is-
long for
that's
the check
bad.
to come.
That's bad.
He had to go try to find it. Not even like just go look
That
for the
was
waiter,
bad.
waitress. Like this is like physically behind,
That was
like
bad.
looking, picking up checks.
That was bad.
Yeah, it was just.
But I do say I want to say this. I think and I go back to what I said. There's a lot of good businesses out there, and I think unfortunately they suffer because people have a bad experience like we had. So I'm not going to do that anymore. So we kind of write them all off.
Yeah.
And we got to be careful that that's not what we should do. Yeah, we should critique the ones who are
So you're
not
saying we should
giving
go back?
service, huh?
You said, huh? You said, what you said?
Going back.
I definitely wouldn't go back with a party at 6.
maybe one of their other locations.
So
Search
no,
a little bit.
maybe. Well, no, because I've been to another location.
Maybe it's just,
It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't perfect.
It could have just been an off day.
Yeah, but I still think. But see, that's the thing about business, man. You got to have if you have an off day, which happens, you got to have good customer service
To acknowledge that too.
consistently. You can't, especially now, your generation is different. And what I mean is, your generation is the Y generation. You want answers. You want to know why. You might even care, but you want to know why. Sometimes older people kind of take on this nod and say, okay, they and they mind and making excuses, but they don't have enough help and they go through all this stuff. But and
that's how I felt a little bit. I was like, they didn't have enough help. Maybe that was it.
But you got to recognize the shift in generations. You also got to recognize the power of social media now, because we could have. If we all whipped out our phones, we could have done some damage. Like, I'm in the 11:30. So you got to recognize that when you're in business. So I think sometimes people forget about the power of social media. And social media, you say it all the time. Social media, they can take stuff and spin it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the other thing you got to take into consideration.
So this question is about to sound a little crazy. Has there ever been a moment where you felt like you've been guilted to support Black businesses? By that I mean for example, I went to Wawa one time. I saw some dude handing out CDs. He was trying to hand it to me.
CDs?
Yeah, he was trying to.
When was this?
This is probably this is a year ago. It was crazy. And he's like, come on, man, support Black businesses, because I wouldn't take one. I just kind of looked at him like,
you ain't a business.
You're selling CDs.
But
it's like, all right, I'll take a flyer. But have you ever felt like you've been guilted into supporting Black businesses? Oh, you're not doing enough. That type of deal.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say, yo, Wayne, what's up? I wouldn't say, yeah, I would say guilty. I know, but I mean, at first I was like, nah. But then there's times in my mind when I'm saying I know this is not going to end well. I know this is not going to end well, but I would support Black. For instance, if I'm not going to say where, but I went to a place and we were about to order some soul food, and I just happened to look in the glass, and and the raisin was moving. I'm like, yo,
It wasn't really.
No, it was flies in there. So we had already ordered, and Pace, I said, you know what, I wasn't going to eat it, and I wasn't going to go back.
But we see that at other businesses too sometimes.
No, I'm not knocking it, but he just asked me a question. You do feel guilty because you do want to support, but sometimes, man, you just you kind of support, but you in your mind you're saying I'm never going back there.
So my next question was actually going to be do you feel like we do a good enough job of supporting?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not, man.
Because I feel like that's the other side of it too.
If you know the person, I feel like you do it pretty. For instance, my homie Jalil.
Yeah, true.
He's been consistent. He's been consistent. He does great work. So I'm always going to support him. Whoever needs that type of business,
We always right down his team.
Yeah.
No, but see, that's different though. But how many people, if you recommended him to, for instance, I go out my way to support him. I have two other people. One guy if I was Ray Charles or Stevie Wonder, I wouldn't hire him again because he was terrible. I gave him a play, Black business. He was terrible. Wasn't prepared. Didn't give me what I asked for. He was just terrible. He took terrible with a capital T. So I would never use him again. But there's another guy that was really good. I liked the work he did. He did a good video for me. He was a tad bit more expensive, but I used it all because I go out my way to support him.
Right.
So but there's other people who probably could do the same thing. We don't do a great job of that. It's like we used to live on East Spring Avenue. I don't know if you remember that. We lived and there was a Chinese store in one corner, and there was a Black-owned store in the other corner. And more people went to the Chinese store. They were going to the Chinese store, same stores, and then they got upset because the African American Black man had to raise his prices. We got to raise his prices because he's selling fewer products. And the excuse was, his price. Well, you robbing him. You ain't stealing from him. You go in there stealing. So we don't, as a community, do a great job. And that's just how we are. I mean, there's people who will leave their community and go to another store. Yeah. And so. We should be able to do a better job. However, the service has to meet though. It shouldn't be because I'm gonna come to your store and support you regardless because you look like me. No, I need quality service.
Mhm.
I want the same service that somebody who don't look like me is going to get. And I don't think that's too much to ask for.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what probably bothered us and rubbed us the wrong way too, especially waiting for so long and then seeing.
Yeah.
You want to treat people that don't look like us.
That bothered me.
Yeah.
That did bother me. And the other family caught it too because I saw them look.
Yeah.
I saw them look, and luckily it was two families who were okay. They weren't going to go get her up in the store because we both had to wait. We both had to wait, and we watched other people get seated, which made our wait longer because now you've given out the other seats. So we got to wait until you get X amount of seats together. And then it's one, you sat them down, they waited for people. But I also think that's part of it too. It's like when we were in the airport that time. You weren't there. We were in the airport that time. And we were waiting a long line. And people were bringing their friends up to get in front, jumping in front of everybody.
Oh, yeah.
We waiting a long line trying to get out the airport.
Somebody in Orlando?
Yeah. And then the crazy thing, the guy behind us, about 15 people behind us, y'all mind all get in front of y'all? You must be out your car. Yeah. I just thought I had. So I'm just, so I those are things that destroy businesses too. Now that was the airport because, you got people waiting, you hooking up your friends. You hooking up your friends, and I get it, but you can't do it at the expense of your paying customers. So that's the other thing that drives us out of business. Cousin Mookie can't work for everybody. He's rude, he's obnoxious. He can't. So I think these are things that kind of take away from our business.
Yeah.
And then we do it because we want the hookup. I'm coming to Devin, and I want the discount. I wouldn't do it for Abdullah. Or somebody, Ishmael.
But what's crazy? The other side of that is like when black businesses do charge
extremely high.
No, I don't even want to say extremely high. When they are they charging what they need to charge at times, and people do feel like they need to be owned or given a discount. I feel like sometimes that deters people. They're like, oh, well, I went there last time and they ain't hooked me up. I think there's the other side of it too.
I tell people
where people need to be at. We just got to be better at supporting black business, be wiser and smarter about it too.
But you're not going to walk into Macy's and say, give me 10% off if it's not a sale.
No,
you're not going to walk in. You're not going to walk into Nike and say, because I've been wearing your sneaker forever, I need 10. No. So I think we treat black businesses different too.
We do.
And I tell people point blank. Now I'm not asking for a discount, but I'm not asking you to gouge me either, because I've had that too.
Right.
When I know now you double charging me. Now come on, dude.
It's like it's odd. It's like so many different layers to I feel like this conversation about black business, because of course again we do want to separate. I mean, we do want to support black business,
Yeah, we do.
That's number one. But then at the same time, it's like we want to hold people accountable. Where it's like, man, like be a good black business. There are some businesses though, like that have been successful enough, going global. But then there's the other side where they eventually get bought out by the man, the corporate side. Yeah. How do you feel about that? Like, what are your thoughts or opinions on that? Like, do you still consider that good black business? If,
well, I think
you get to that point where it's like
they probably were to a certain extent, and then it probably got to a point where
you still support it.
They couldn't have them go. Well, I can still support it, but I'm not going to support it under pretense that it's a black business now, because it's not.
They got
Jane
on the
just
bottom.
because you leave Jamal hanging over the door, and and you got Ralph Jenkins running the joint. But I think that also represents a lot of times where it speaks volumes of us because we have great ideas, we just can't carry them out. And sometimes we have great ideas, man, and we just don't know how to take them to the next level, and we don't surround ourselves with people that help us get to the next level. I've been challenging young people.
But is that the next level though too? Like if you are selling that business,
if you want to sell
or
it,
you didn't even envision doing that.
If you want to sell
just start out and just like, I'm gonna be this.
If you want to sell it and you set out to do it, that's great. But if you're selling because you're struggling now because you got this good idea and you're just not doing it right, and somebody sees I can come in and turn this around, that's a difference.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying about some of the businesses that I see. Like there's ones that like they've been profitable from what it appears, and then they just kind of
retired.
Yeah,
and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But a lot of times it's because somebody has a great idea and they don't know how to work it. Yeah. And somebody sees the value in an idea, so they come and say, okay, I'm gonna give you pennies on a dollar, but it's idea. Then they take it, like Like the Nike swoosh, they paid them $50 for that little swoosh. I mean, you can't even get a Nike sneaker for $50 now.
And would you say for businesses like that I'm kind of referring to, there's opportunities to like make them generational, or household names, or do you think it is a smart play?
Your child, or like
because like that's what some of these names that we have now around.
But the other thing we talking about I was talking to somebody the other day, and they told me an excellent story. We were talking about businesses, and they said I was telling them a story about our little episode, and he said he shared the story about how it's the store he used to go in all the time, and these two little boys worked in the store, and now those little boys, they went to college, but they each opened up a store, so they have these 3 families that's raking a lot of money. How often do you see that happen in our community? A lot of times the kids don't want to follow the dream. A lot of times the kids don't want to take over the business. It usually stops right there with the father or the grandfather. I don't know why I don't have an answer for that, but you don't see many businesses where we pass it on to our kids and our kids just take over and run. I don't know why. But you see that in other ethnic groups. Asians do it, the Jewish do it, Indians do it. Excuse me, just in our it just seems like in our community you don't see many mom and pop stores or father-son stores, I should say, where they pass it down generations. It's just for some reason you don't see it. If someone, I don't know why. I don't know why.
Like, and that is kind of to me like we had done another rabbit hole and topic of discussion where it's like, man, is it something that you think is like maybe family related, and like in terms of why that we don't do that? Like, is there some type of fracture there?
No.
Like, is it like what is it that we don't have that mindset of like, yo,
they grow up doing their whole
like, because
life.
in those other communities, I feel like they kind of almost groomed to do it.
I don't mean this as a
Are
joke.
we not doing it? Like, we're not grooming.
I don't mean this as a joke. But the reality of it all is because why should I work hard when I can start a t-shirt business? I'm serious. Why should I take time and learn this business? Because I got to learn the whole business. I got to learn about expenses. I got to learn about paying people. I learn about inventory. I got to learn all this stuff, whatever it is, when I can just start a t-shirt business. I can call, I'm not going to make the same money, but I'm an entrepreneur. So I think a lot of it has to do with the work.
You're an entrepreneur. Like,
but
you got to own the
just
business.
like that.
Yeah,
but there's everybody don't want to put the work in. Everybody does
it's
not
still
want to
work.
No, but it's a different kind of work. If I'm doing a t-shirt business, most people do a t-shirt. There's somebody who get their grind on. There's some that kind of do it just to make money. They're not thinking open up a store. They're not thinking, man, I'm gonna turn this thing into t-shirts, to sweatshirts, to hoodies. No, they're not. They're thinking I'm just gonna hustle these t-shirts. You and I, we sat. Remember, we were in the meeting. We were laughing about that very thing because that's the first thing most people think about. Most people don't want to think. It's like when I had my cleaning company. People wanted to get into the business, but when you told them what it took, well, even now, people come to me and say, yo, I want to do what you're doing, man. I want to speak to kids. I want to get out there, talk, and get paid. Okay, this is what you got to do. Really? They think they're just going to show up and just start talking. So I think, the amount of work that we put in has a lot to do with it. And I think generational, and I'm not picking on this generation, they don't work as hard.
Yeah, I mean, do you think, though, is it anything impacted by like the prior generations, maybe? Like, because I don't.
Yeah.
Like, because think about this Black Wall Street, like, thriving business. I'm sure that was the idea at some point in time. Like, man, you got your kids learning this at the same time. I feel like, I don't know, sometimes maybe.
I'm breaking all the parent rules here now because I think.
They be having kids in the back. You're going to start from the bottom. You're going to do
but
this.
They don't do that now. They don't do that anymore.
Do you think that's what you need to do?
Yeah,
have them in the books,
yes,
like
do.
starting with you.
But I think
put me in the game.
I think you should
front row.
Teach me the game
until they get old enough to start making choices. You should expose them. If you own a business, you should expose your kid to the business. If I had a business and I was running my business when you were younger, yeah, you work in my business, and then at least when you get older, you better communicate to me a choice. You better say, hey, this is what I prefer to do. Versus, I think now. We do it backwards. We get a kid everything, and then when the kid gets 16 or 18, we want to kind of invite him into the business. I haven't worked hard for 18 years. So I think I don't think, and I'm not talking about child labor, but I don't think there's anything wrong with exposing your children to your business until they get old to make a choice. I'm not saying you beat them over here and say this is what you got to do, but I think you should at least expose them to different things. Like I did you when you had to work down at the Constitution Center. I exposed you to different things so you can make your own choice. So I think that's what we need to do more. But I think what we see now a lot of times is I don't think families do that anymore. They don't bring the kids along, to do things to learn the family business. They don't do that. So now the kids get older, the kids like, I don't want to do that, because they don't know. All they know is the other side of it.
Like, let's use like the cleaning business, for example. And I'm not saying like,
yeah,
but what does good business practices versus bad business practices look like? And like, let's use the cleaning.
I'll give you the perfect example. You don't know because you were young. The company was just starting to go. I just had the company roll. We just landed the contract downtown. I was in, it was a 15-story building on Walnut Street downtown. Really 14 because one of the floors was for maintenance and stuff. First real large contract, winning this contract, man, and me and the lady was cool. We got along well. Once in a while, she would pay me a little late, and I get it because sometimes you're moving money around and stuff like that. So I decided we go to Florida. We're on vacation. So I'm on vacation, and my phone is blowing up because the people I left in charge were demanding stuff. You need to pay us on time, talk to this lady. Yo, you got it backwards. I'm paying. You talking to her like she one of the workers. Mm-hmm. Even talking to some of the workers, you can't scream at somebody cleaning the toilet who's paying a little more than minimum wage. So those are bad business practices. You learn how to communicate with your employees and clients. Yeah. That's bad business practice. I give you another perfect example. Where I'm at now, I got people from my last job calling me up trying to come over. But, because, the way I treated them. Yeah, they were part-time workers, but I treated them like humans. So they like, yo, we want out. I just hired one worked for me, and then two more like, yo, can we come? So how you treat people is key, man. I think sometimes we take that for granted. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in our pride and our ego, we don't want to look weak. I'm the boss, and not understanding that leadership is about influence. It's not about your title. We get those things skewed. So it impacts our business because now if they do come back, they embarrass and they're disgruntled. You're not getting their best. You're not getting their best. And if they have options, they're out of there. So I think those are bad business practices. You got to care about your staff, and you got to care about your customers. Some of your customers may be a pain in the neck, but if they come in and they spending money and they not being disrespectful, you got to care about them. You can't be in there, I don't like her. I don't like her dress. I don't like her hair. Who does she think she is criticizing my rights, putting everybody like my mac and cheese. Well, I don't. Mm-hmm. That's my prerogative. So I think those are things that we have to do better. But I also think we have to raise the bar as African Americans. Like we got to have a higher standard of expectations. That's why I don't like that when people put the gratuity in the check, because that just means you can give me any old kind of service and I'm stuck. I'm stuck. It used to be based on the service. So why do I got to take care of you?
Everybody asking for the tip nowadays.
But I'm saying because I can give you rotten service because I can give you rotten service and the tip is in the check. There's nothing you can do.
It's crazy.
There's nothing you can do. So that's the other thing I don't like about it is I think, and I get it. You balance it out because some people don't tip, but I'm a tipper. Your mom sometimes thinks I go overboard, and there's times I give somebody a little more. Most of the times I do more. But I'm saying, when it's included in the check, they kind of got the advantage because I can give you crappy service and I'm already getting my tip. So there's no incentive in there.
I mean, a lot of businesses are doing that. I don't think that's just a black business thing.
No, but I'm talking. I keep saying all business, but we're talking about. The question was about African American business. How can we better support them and the things we need to do? And it's on both sides. It's things we can do as a community, but it's things they need to do.
True. I think that actually is probably the most important point from tonight. Is that it's going to take a lot on both sides. We're going to need some consistency and elevated service and great product on the black side, but then also, black side on the business side, all of this is black. But then on the customer side, on our part, we got to be better at supporting and staying loyal and like.
I go to the outlet to buy my sneakers.
But loyalty with not also blindness. You know what I mean? Like you got to support good business and not just because it's your homie or your friend.
But I go to the outlet
and pay full price,
right? And I know when I go into the Nike store. And when I go into the Reebok store, the service has always been excellent. Somebody always comes over to me, hey, how you doing? Can I help you? Did you find everything? You want a bag and little bags, net bags, you got a lot of stuff. Can you find anything? You know, I remember I was with at Christmas time and this young girl comes over and she's like, "Hey, what you need? I got you. I'll hold that." I end up buying me a pair of sneakers. Adversely, when I go into the Under Armour store, yo, man, it's like being there by yourself. You could be in there and everybody just walk past you. It's like being in Home Depot in the hood. Nobody has a specialty.
Yeah.
Nobody has a specialty. And so now I don't even go to Under Armour. I don't even go in there anymore. You know, because I know when I go in those two stores.
Trying to get some Under Armour gear.
No, what I'm saying is when I go to those two stores, it's about service. If I'm going to spend my money, I want service.
Yeah.
I don't want to. If I got to go on it, then you know what? You need to take off the sales commission because there ain't no commission. Nobody help me. No, that shouldn't be
The
in
person
there.
at the register gets the commission.
So, you know, who's helping you? Nobody. So I think, you know, again, I think it's two-sided. I think some, not all, some Black businesses can do a lot better. You know, and I think, but I think on our side, we need to raise the bar in a constructive way. Not blasting them on social media, not, you know,
That's gonna be my question. How do we
conversations.
do it? Like, is it just like this, having conversations about
Yeah,
the reality of
Put the owner to the side, like, look, my brother,
your grits was not hitting today?
the fries are soggy.
But see, the food part, the food part I can work with because you're going to be off sometimes. I get it. The service part is non-negotiable because the food, everybody's not going to cook, you know, because unless you fortunate enough to have the same chef or the same quality chef, you know, sometimes JoJo just off his game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the service part, yeah. But I don't want my French fries to be cold. You know, I don't want to order breakfast with toast, and I'm through my breakfast. I'm done my omelet. Now you bring me my toast. You know, I don't need the waitress telling me.
Splitting up the different courses.
I don't need the same waitress telling me. The waitress telling me, "Oh, I can only take your drink order now. I can't take your food order.
Oh,
you
yeah,
got to come back and get it anyway." So I'm just then, you know, well, I gotta fix the water. What do you mean fix the water? And it was School punch. It was tap water. It wasn't even bottled water. So I'm just saying stuff like that is just, you know, and it wasn't like these prices was all like cheap either.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I just said that though, man. Like, you gotta give it up. Some people, like, that's just the price of food right now. Like,
but I don't mind paying. It's like when I go to and I'm gonna do some branding here. You know, that's why I like Sullivan's. Sullivan's is hot. But the service, every time I go to Sullivan's, they treat me like I'm the only guy in the joint.
What is Sullivan's?
It's a steakhouse.
Yes.
It's a steakhouse at KLP. They treat me like I'm the only guy in the joint, man. Hey, how you doing? They come over to the table. The guys come back every 5 minutes. You want me to fill your glass up? You need to open a bottle of wine. You know, hey, your steak okay? Do you have enough? You want me to your bread fresh? You know, they treat me like I'm in a high class place. You know, they not treat me like I'm in Longhorns where they just give you food. And I'm not like I like Longhorns,
I like Longhorns.
What is the difference in the service? It's in this, and I don't mind paying for the service. That steak probably come from the same cow. I don't know, but I'm just saying. But I like that service. It's like if you go to you go to one of them all you can eat places. The service is not, you know, you get to eat the food, but the service, you doing the service. So I mean, service to me has a lot to do. You know, I want good food. You know, we talked about a breakfast spot or messed up the food. You know, when we talking about that.
Yeah.
You know, and the experience. You know, I need good service, man. I mean, you know, you're not gonna give me bad food and bad service. I'm gonna come back.
You say that's the number one issue sometimes with, I guess, poorly ran. Like, is it service? Is it quality?
I think they don't know how to grow. I honestly think I don't think it's on purpose. I think they just not prepared to grow. You know, and some of them maybe grows too fast. You know, it just grows too fast. And then I know this part of the deal. You're making money. And you don't want to turn money down because everybody tells you when you go into business, the one thing you can't control is your cash flow because you can't control when business is going to be hot and cold. That's beyond your control. You don't know when the recession is going to come. Like COVID, you got shut down. So most people get in business, they try to make as much money as they can, as fast as they can, not thinking long haul, like I need to have repeat customers. It's like if I call somebody to look at this house and they come out, you know, and this, I'm not going to put them on blast. I get 3 bids for everything. So first guy comes out, looks around, looks at the deck on the back of the house, says, I can do it for X amount of dollars. Second guy comes out, looks around, man, said, hey, I can do it. He was a little higher. Black guy comes out, man, who put this deck on? It ain't going to last long. Dude, that deck been here 20 years. Well, I'm just saying, from a professional point of view, I'm looking at it. I said, dude, the deck been here 20 years. You can jump up and down that deck.
Right.
Yeah, I said, so what do you mean? It's already outlasted. I said, that's the third set of wood I put on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, this is, he starts telling me all this stuff, man. And, I'm like, dude, really? You got the wrong person. All I wanted was a quote. Then he tells me, well, I got to charge you extra if I give you a written quote. Now I'm done.
I got to charge you extra
now I'm
if
done.
I give you a written quote.
So now I'm really stupid.
He charge you for the ink.
Because then he's going to tell me, well, I can text it to you. And you can text me back. Dude, you don't think I realize that's a legal contract? If you text me something and I text you back, I say, okay, that means I accept. I need to see an itemized quote. And I had two brothers tell me that. Two brothers. A guy, when I was trying to get a quote for my room, I can't give you a written quote. It's going to cost you extra. You got to be out your kind big in mine.
Do you think they be just trying to get over sometimes, man? That's crazy.
Now, real quick, do you think for a lot of these black-owned businesses, does the advertisement need to be better? Because I'm gonna be honest, most of these places I don't really find out until on like social media, like Instagram or TikTok or something like that.
That really is the only place I do find out.
It depends on, because I gotta laugh because I'm guilty of this. I don't even listen to the current music, but
we know that.
but I gotta tell you something. Like, I don't even know the name of the song. But when I see some of these black places, the music be jamming. I'm like, yeah, I gotta go check them out. I'm just saying, I would. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go there. Just like we in the place, y'all. We were joking about the playlist. Yo, the music. If I hear music, like, yo, I gotta check it. I don't even know the song.
Sometimes I do feel like we be hyping up some places that don't deserve to be hyped up.
So I do. That draws me in. The marketing knows that. It's like certain commercials. It does. It draws me in. Versus a place that if they playing a funeral song, I'm not gonna be ready to enjoy it. So I think advertisement for that aspect and the way they advertise, I'm less likely to either place with dude in the corner looking like he just fell off the back of a truck, passing out hand, come eat. Yeah. His hands is dirty, he not well kept. Give me, come. That ain't gonna happen.
I feel like we gotta do better at advertising for each other though sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. But that's what this show is about. This show is about getting people and promoting business. My thing is I want to promote good business like TC, Terry with the basketball, Justin, who's on our show sometimes. I want to promote people who I know that's going to give a quality service.
Yeah. I mean, but sometimes I think we like too divided. We throw our dollar in so many different places, and I do feel like, man, I do want to see black business succeed at another level to that point that I made before. Like, let's try to keep something in the family.
But I don't want to, and I do. And
a black business is like a staple, like a Procter & Gamble type thing, Why can't we have something like that?
But we can. But the thing is this: the other side of the coin is the standard going to be the same? Mm-hmm. Because I'm gonna go to
I'll
go to somebody of a different ethnicity, and I'll go in and I'll pay no questions asked. And soon I go to the brother, but you can't do anything for me. You can't knock a few. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. So now he's hustling, he's trying to survive like the other dude, but you want to sell in this place. You have, forget that this guy got a sales sign up and you already marked it up 50% and marked it down 25%. So you're still paying more for it than you thought you were. You go over here. Well, dude got it over here. Yeah, but okay. Hmm. So, so that's another thing. We do expect more for less. We want to pay less, not understanding that, value. And this guy got to eat and live indoors like everybody else does, but we want the hookup. So I think that's part of it too. And then
you got to get out of that culture.
But are we passing it down generation to generation? Are we teaching our kids? You try to support. Like, to me, we talk about all the time. Sometimes you can't, but you should make the most effort to support an African American owned business. And I do. I go out my way sometimes. But there's times when you can't. Like, hey,
I can't.
If somebody's giving me bad service, I'm not going to use them just because they look like me.
And that's why I want to give our sister Nicole. I give her props because I feel like she's the reason why I find out so many places are black owned.
Yeah, and I think that's again like probably a testament or in agreement with what we were saying tonight. Like, we got to do better at promoting those businesses amongst each other, Like,
so I tell you what,
she definitely sends me some online.
It's 8:00. If you got a black-owned business, hit us up.
Yeah, send it to me.
Fair enough. If you got a black-owned business and you want to get on our show, you want us to give you a plug on one of our shows.
or not even if you just a black-owned business. Like if you know of a black-owned business that you regularly spend your money at, and send it our way. We'll add to the customer base.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So,
I'm looking for more black-owned places. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, me too, man. And there's plenty of food and stuff like that in the city. Business shows that we can attend. I think it's limitless to what we can do here when it comes to black business.
Bar would be nice.
I would go to a black. There's some of those too.
In a decent area.
That's another conversation.
See, this is, and I think that would be a great idea. The problem with it is, will we support it? That's always the issue. If it was a place, like I always say, I would love to. I think a nice place where you can have live entertainment. You get some students in the musical arts to come perform, nice dinner. I think it'd be great. But will we support it?
Isn't the types of businesses right? Like sometimes I feel like we almost kind of pigeonholed a little bit. Like we have to have
shoes, apparel.
It gotta be a food spot. It gotta be a clothing line. Like
boutique.
Boutique. I would like to see something kind of outside of the box. Like,
but you do what you're good at, though. I mean, you do what you're good at. Like
I love what TC does. Like in terms of like wedding venues, like that.
But he's
catering. That's like
changed
so
the whole
broad
business.
And outside the box.
But he's also changed the whole business. Like you could do a whole wedding at TC's online now.
I know.
Nobody else does that. He has the big firework display out there. When you come, I mean, he's kind of shifted the game plan. So but he's unique because everybody thinking like that.
But again, like it's
and he look how quickly he paid the place off to own it now.
I think that's another level of black businesses. Like start thinking a little bit differently as to the types of businesses that we can do. I think that's another conversation.
Yeah, but I think you do what you get at.
Yeah,
like I can't sing, so I couldn't open up a karaoke.
But then TC didn't know anything about what he worked and learned and like moved his way up type thing and found that this could be a business.
Like, how bad do you want it?
Passion for business.
He developed a passion for it and figured out the industry. That's the key. If it's not your passion, you're gonna struggle.
Like if you got a passion for business,
but it gotta be. That's why some people fail, because you gotta narrow it down. You got to find something that you're good at, not just.
And that's what I'm saying. Maybe try things and explore different things to do that. Because for instance, this dude that I follow on Instagram, that he went to prison. He was trapping, hustling on the streets, good with money. But then he went to prison, started reading books, learned about stock. He's Wall Street trapper now. He trading stocks. So I think that something like what you were saying, find something that you're passionate about. Now he's teaching other people how to do that.
But again, is find that thing, because a lot of people who sell drugs is not their passion. It's almost like the t-shirt business.
It's a means to an end.
Yeah,
that's how I think most people do it for. Right. And it's quicker or different ways legally.
There's a kid I work with, and we were talking about something. And I said, okay, well, so what would you do with $1,000? And the first word out of his mouth was how he can turn it over in the drug business. First word out of his mouth. That's his mentality.
That's again lack of creativity.
Very short-sighted.
Lack of creativity.
But you go by what you're exposed to, And I always say we don't pay attention to it. As a man thinketh, so is he. And that's all you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, that's what happens in business. You just said it. You don't expand your knowledge of your business. You know enough to get it started, to start making money, but you don't keep investing in yourself to learn enough to grow it.
Right.
To take it to the next level. So that's another reason why businesses fail.
And it's funny because I've definitely ran into some entrepreneurs on the other side of that, where they not only are just focused on the business, they're also investing in themselves to figure out different ways and learn from other people to kind of expand upon it.
And people don't understand, you are your biggest brand.
Yeah.
So if you got a business and you're not promoting yourself well, that's like all I kept thinking about when I was there Sunday was the owner walking through there, walking like 1.9 miles an hour, no sense of urgency. And I kept equating that to the service I was getting. If you walking like that, why should you just get? And in my mind, that's all I kept thinking. She was just all sharing around the joint, taking her time. She wasn't going around. She walking around, but you're not going to the table and say, "I apologize for what's taking so long. We sure to help." Whatever. She and her staff acted the way she acted. That's in my head. Every time I saw her, that's why our staff acting like that.
Yeah. Well,
lead by example.
I know. So I feel like we touched upon
Charge you for that phrase.
a lot of
That
different
keep
areas
pushing
here
the
tonight.
stone.
I mean, at the core of it is like we want to support Black business, but it got to be great business, y'all.
Supporting one of my schools,
You know?
Overbrook Educational Center. I gotta get my schools out there.
Yeah, he always loves to plug his school.
I do.
But again, we want to thank everybody tuning in tonight. Above Average Black Man, another great episode. And
Like, follow, subscribe, share, comment. Real quick, want to give a shout out to Jalil, Dave Harris. Those are some brothers that doing great business. So just wanted to give them a shout out.
Photographer, marketing, TC. We talked about you tonight, man. Got
we
wedding
gotta
venues,
get him back
catering,
on.
and like for everybody, like support your Black business. So does our hair. Like again, let's shout out to the ladies that got businesses out there.
Yep.
Like it ain't just about supporting men here. We support everyone in our community. So yes, thank you guys for tuning in.
So.
Yeah,
I'll tell everybody, me and my son to go to the same salon.
we all do. I got him going there. I remember when he used to make fun of me for it.
Y'all reason why I go because y'all said I didn't have a style.
Yeah.
Now you got
braids. You gonna take that off by yourself?
Yeah, another episode of Above Average Black Man. No, I'll see her at 5:45 Friday morning.
You have to learn how to do that, man.
5:45.
5:45.
Early bird catches the worm. Late sleepers don't eat. Another great episode of Above Average Black Man. Same time next week.
Late sleepers don't eat.
Don't be stealing my phrase either.
Is that your phrase? Probably somewhere.
No, that's me. I made that up.
And late breakfast.